Oh God. Why nah?
You don't say to mama, you don't read though. Says the tracking angel. You don't boast to mama, you don't cut. Now chain you the cut. Okay, now make I use my microscope, scan a reality scan, nigga area biafra phobia mentality. See, set mazin nam the canu free. One war. They don't want to hear the name of Biafra. For them is a scary name of Biafra. I love this very name of Biafra. Biafra, most I Jaja bless Biafra, Chukwu Kika Biama bless Biafra, conscientiousness bless Biafra, Biafra, Biafra. Started in 1804 by Uthman Danfodio, Rinom go be to Sokoto, Boo, Sa Amadou Bello, they massacred the Hausa, Mariri and Pura. What about the Shua, Zamfara and Adamawa? Referendum is the voice of everyone. Real freedom, Yahweh must be done on the land. Simon, they don't want to hear the name of Biafra. For them is a scary name of Biafra. I love this very name of Biafra. Biafra, Biafra. Most I Jaja bless Biafra. Chukwu Kika Biama bless Biafra. Conscientiousness bless Biafra. Biafra, Biafra. They tried by the canories. These reckless foolanis. They conquered the Lorraine. Fooling, who them fooling. They killing in Benue every day. Niger State and Plateau State every day. The whole of Middle Belt State every day. Every day. Every day. Our move, don't do. They say we move, but now we move. They don't want to hear the name of Biafra. For them is a scary name of Biafra. I love this very name of Biafra. Biafra, Biafra. Most I Jaja bless Biafra. Chukwu Kika Biama bless Biafra. Conscientiousness bless Biafra. Biafra, Biafra. We know that they are the terrorists. Like the man.
Nandi, Ladi is longest time. How are you doing, my
mainstream media swami. Now we have more sellers than buyers. Information minister liar. Mr. like Mohammed and liar. The truth is Biafra fire. They don't want to hear the name of Biafra. For them is a scary name of Biafra. I love this very name of Biafra. Biafra, Biafra. Most I Jaja bless. Chukwu Kika Biama bless. Conscientiousness bless Biafra. Biafra, Biafra. They can come into Biafra land, one them, run them out, or go do the wall and the one them, and run them out now, run them out now. Yo, divided nations, decent, playing their bloody games against Biafra with the AU, all the same. What a shame. Such a pain. Nnamdi Kanu says Biafra. He goes away. Biafra. Black people worldwide say Biafra. Marcus Gavin Biafra.
Thank you for joining me this afternoon. You're all welcome. This afternoon, it's going to be a very long interview you're going to watch, but you will love it, you will enjoy it, you will be glad you view this interview. Just be ready to spend this 2 hours without switching off. Even me, I will just, after I go back to work, I will leave the interview to play, so you will watch it from the beginning to the end, and you will see expositions that will blow your mind. In fact, this Pastor Ladi Peter Thompson, you have watched his interview on this platform before, when Adeola interviewed him, when he made a lot of expositions. And this one is mind-blowing. I have been looking for time to play this interview. I said, no, now that I have gotten it on Twitter, so we are not going to have any interruption of adverts, because adverts is always from YouTube. Now we are going to be streaming it from Twitter, and I appreciate Adeola, who did a good job getting this man back again to have him interviewed. So please, you're going to hear how Nigeria government lied about Shekau, the leader of Boko Haram. In fact, you're going to hear the foundation of Boko Haram, how it began, how Nigeria government is involved, how they lied, how they made deal with these terror groups, and all that is going on in Nigeria, and what to do to win. And this man, the condition he gave to Adeola is not that we should have thousands of people watching or millions of people watching this earth mind-blowing and earth-boggling interview. It is to have people that will be ready to take action and do the needful. It's not people that will come and listen to gossip, but people that will listen and be ready with their mind to do something to end the impunity in Nigeria, to end the terrorism in Nigeria, to keep Christians safe and to keep Biafrans safe. Very, very important. So I'm going to go straight to the point without wasting further time, because myself, I want to watch the interview and listen to it again. I couldn't even listen to the whole 2 hours before. At least now that we have the opportunity to play it while I'm listening, I will also be sure that you are back there listening and enjoying it. Thank you so very much. Agape Love, there's a video I sent to you yesterday. Can you play it? Okay, I can play it, but not now. I have to see it first before I play it. This is a different program. Let's listen to this one. Later, I will see that video and I will play it. Thank you very much, my brother. God bless you. And when you send me an important video like that, call me to get my attention that you sent me something, so that I will listen to it before I will know how relevant it is to play it. Day one. So let's go straight to the video while we are here. Please make sure you hit the like button so that we will have everyone hooked up, joining in to watch this mind-blowing interview. Oh my goodness me. Thank you, Adeola. Please permit us to use this, your work, to create awareness. In fact, that's the need for it is for people to be aware that Nigeria government is complacent, is a terrorist government, and that people should spread this news so that the world will know who Nigeria government is. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so grateful that you guys made the time to join me for this interview today. My name is Adeola Fayehun, as you guys are already aware. Wherever you're joining me from, let me know in the comment section. For those of you that are watching live, there will be a lot of people that will watch this after that won't be able to join us live. But if you're watching live, let's know where you're watching from. So I'm waiting for my guests. I think he's almost done. He's almost ready. And we're about to start, but you guys already know him, Reverend Ladi Thompson, the convener of the Macedonia Initiative and a security expert that has been at the forefront of what is happening in terms of insecurity in Nigeria. And so the last time that we had him on the show, he talked to us about how the Nigerian government is allegedly involved in the insecurity that is happening in Nigeria, and how the presidency allegedly made a deal with the bandits, the terrorists. And so he still has something that he wanted to say during the last interview. Some of you said that I interrupted him, and that's why.
And now I want you to understand what Adeola did there. She said how the Nigerian government made a deal with the bandit, and she corrected herself immediately and said the terrorist. It is important we continue to call these people terrorists. This bandit thing, when the people hear it in the diaspora, when Americans hear it, and those people in Europe hear when you say bandit, they don't consider it a very big offense or very big. Banditry is robbery. I want you to know the deliberate act of trying to water down this wickedness of Nigeria. They call terrorists bandits. So when they call them bandits, if you come to Germany now, you tell them there is a bandit problem. They have bandits everywhere in Nigeria. When they check, they know the meaning of bandit. Banditry is people that break into rob. Bandit is completely different from terrorism. Banditry is completely different from what? Terrorism. So all the people saying bandit, you people should be ashamed of yourself. You are helping Nigeria to cover up their crime. So you see, Adeola, when she said bandit, she said, I'm sorry, terrorist, because These people are terrorists. They're not bandits. So when next you are referring to them, make sure you refer to them as terrorists, not bandits. What we have in Nigeria is terrorist government, terrorist Boko Haram, terrorist Fulani herdsmen, terrorist militias, terrorist Nigeria army, not bandit. Because if you use the word bandit, people won't take it serious. They'll say, Nigeria is only bandits. They have problem of bandits. The government can take care of it. And the people can even fight and protect themselves from bandits. No, we're not talking about bandits here. They come with knife, dagger, or machete, or with a 4x4 blank. No, we're talking about people that come with AK-47, AK-69, 67, and whatever name you call them. Rocket-propelled missile, grenades. Is that bandit? So I had to stress on this. I took my time to explain this because Adeola deliberately corrected herself by telling you that it is not a bandit, it is terrorist. I'll allow her to repeat it again so that you will understand. I won't interrupt again until this whole thing is over. Maybe when it is over, I will just end it. Please make sure you are sharing this so that everybody will listen to this interview. Don't say I didn't tell you. It's very, very important, okay? Thank you very much. So Adeola, please remind them again that it is not bandit but terrorists.
I'm waiting for my guests. I think he's almost done. He's almost ready. And we're about to start, but you guys already know him, Reverend Ladi Thompson, the convener of the Macedonia Initiative and a security expert that has been at the forefront of what is happening in terms of insecurity in Nigeria. And so the other time that we had him on the show, he talked to us about how the Nigerian government is allegedly involved in the insecurity that is happening in Nigeria, and how the presidency allegedly made a deal with the terrorists. And so he still has something that he wanted to say during the last interview. Some of you said that I interrupted him, and that's why I decided to bring him back on the show, and he graciously agreed to come back on the show. I personally don't take this for granted. He's a very busy man if you know him. And so for him to agree to come back on the show, I do not take it lightly. So I'm really excited about today's interview, and I'm really looking forward to it. So we have about 600 people watching us now. I'm just waiting for us to get to 1,000, and then we will start. Okay, we're at 800. This is like all platforms combined, not just on YouTube, by the way. So if you have any questions for Reverend Ladi Thompson today, I beg of you, just let him talk first about Shekau and other things that he wants to talk about. And then I will let you know when you can start writing your questions. And then I would be taking the questions. Initially, I was going to let people talk on the microphone to join us in the studio, but some people may abuse that and talk for a long time, and then we won't get to other people's questions. So please, if you have any questions, just save it. As soon as he's done talking, then we would take questions from the audience. And so we have like 950, 960. Okay, we got 1,000 people. So let me have him in the studio. Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Yes, it is afternoon where you are as well. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Thank you. But you remember that I was very conditional about coming back on this show.
Yes.
Remember I said to you that I am not a generation of excitement. What is at stake here is the future of generations. Blood is flowing. Life is being devalued. It's not just Nigeria, it's West Africa and Africa as well. So you know that I did agree with you that I would only come on your platform if we are sure that your people are not just people who want to be titillated, who just want to hear. The talk is too much, it's time for action. So please, let's go ahead, as long as you remember my condition for coming back here.
Okay, so he gave his condition and he's reiterating it again. He wants to really focus on the solution, and especially us young people, what we can do, not just talking about the problem. And so I'm going to have him talk to us. Before we get to the solution, can you please tell us what you wanted to say about Abubakar Shekau when we were having the last interview?
Like I said, I don't think there's anything new. I was so shocked when people were saying some of the things I was saying. I don't think there's anything new about what I'm saying. Let's take the case of Abubakar Shekau, for instance, who died finally. Remember the fellow who took over from Muhammad Yusuf? Let's start from Muhammad Yusuf of Boko Haram fame. Remember that when Muhammad Yusuf was overrun, first of all, there was a person in that place who was standing next to a colleague of mine who Yusuf ordered his execution. But before they could kill him, he turned to the person next to him who was a deacon who spoke to me directly and said, "Tell my family I died well." And I remember very well that when he gave me that report, I said, the family he's talking about is the entire nation, is the entire church community as well of Nigeria. Now, Yusuf was kidnapped and he was summarily executed in the custody of the police. It was an inside job. If Yusuf had lived to speak, a lot of these things would have been exposed earlier. But Yusuf was terminated by inside forces. I remember that when I talk, I'm not concerned with only the Tinubu dispensation. The same way I spoke when Buhari was there is the same way I'm speaking right now. Whoever is on the throne must be held responsible. Yusuf was summarily executed without trial. To make matters worse, all the people that Yusuf had killed, nobody got any compensation. And I can count them in thousands. And the federal government ended up paying 100 and how many million? 100 and something million to Yusuf's family. That was when Shekau took over. When Shekau took over, he began to terrorize the country. And then the federal government made an announcement. Now look at the games they've been playing with us for a while in Nigeria. They made an announcement that they thought that he was killed, that he had been killed during one attack or so of the government. Now, everybody knows that he was not killed. And then to make matters worse, he now came out publicly to announce that I'm not dead, I'm alive. Do you know how many times the federal government announced that they killed Shekau? Then they began to talk about that, no, it was a double. The war of narratives. They started again telling stories left, right, and center. Now, let me tell you how Shekau really died. The Shekau that the federal government claimed to be looking for and could never get all these years, it was when Shekau had earlier come out to confess, because when we were saying that what is happening in Nigeria is not a local thing, but a global thing. Global means it is global with a local face. The country was in denial. Now, he had come out to tell people, everybody clearly, that he was associated with ISIL. And at that time, I think ISIL was headed by, was it Musa Banawi, whatever his name was, whatever that guy's, I'll try to remember the name of the ISIS leader then. But then what happened was this, watch this, because this is where the solution lies. ISIS became very embarrassed the way Shekau was talking. I told you that Islamic religion, Islamism, is a cover for a supremacist agenda. They are not only after northern Nigeria, they are after the whole of Nigeria. They are not only after the whole of Nigeria, they are after West Africa. And after West Africa, it will be Africa. And I told you that when they found out that it was working against their interest in the international community where they are raising funds. And if you remind me, I will tell you a personal experience of how I had to talk to the church leader of about how many million people were in his church when we had to go and address him on how to talk. Because we said to you, media is a force expander. If you respond wrongly, it helps them, unknown to you. Anyhow, to cut a long story short, when the ISIL leader, Baghdadi, when the ISIL leader said, this is getting too embarrassing, and he sent a message to Shekau that he was to yield his position, and they were going to install somebody else. Now, don't forget that the terminology Boko Haram was invented by the Western press. It was a convenient coinage because Yusuf's radical set had been operating in Maiduguri all along with the cooperation of the state government. In fact, let's go into that story. What really caused all this that people heard about Yusuf that Yusuf was captured in, I think, 2008, was simply because, listen to me, around that time, I wrote a report. I wrote a report on behalf of CAN, and I circulated the report to all the authorities who should have been able to do something. I said something is brewing in Maiduguri. If you go to the Maiduguri, the Islamists had a special uniform for their police. They had a special uniform for their military. They were working freely. Their enclave was well known. And frankly speaking, they were working with the cooperation of the governor. What really transpired was that the people became so blatant, they got to a checkpoint. Well, of course, you know, there is the police, there's soldiers, or moped and all that. And they got so rude because they refused to wear helmets. They became an authority to themselves. Now, during one of those encounters, they had a skirmish and they were so belligerent, they tried to attack the authorities, and one of them was shot in the leg. When the report got to Yusuf of Boko Haram, he became annoyed. So what is going on here? That's when he began to attack the government, to show them who is who. All along, the politicians thought they were controlling him. But he knew that he had a global backup. Al-Baghdadi was his global backup. Many of them had been for training outside of Nigeria. So when they killed Yusuf and put him there, when Yusuf now got belligerent, and then they ended up capturing Yusuf, the person who was with him the day he was captured told me one-on-one when I was taking my reports. Now, they now gave an order when Shekau began to talk about the kidnapped girls, how he's selling them, how he's doing this and all that. In the war of narratives, that painted Islamism in a negative way. So I'm telling you that this Hydra is extremely intelligent. So they tried to replace him. What the federal government could not do, all these years making noise about looking for Shekau, it was actually ISIL that now sent in the replacement. I think the replacement was called, what's that guy's name again? I'll remember his name in a few minutes. The replacement that was sent to replace Shekau, they stormed Sambisa Forest. That was a degree of firefight. It was not the federal government that took out Shekau. He had put on a suicide vest. So when the forces of ISWAP, by them, I think they now call them ISWAP. It was Abu Musa al-Banawi, yes, that was to replace him. When Abu Musa now came, I mean, the advanced team that was supposed to capture Shekau and make Shekau give up, don't forget that by now, those loyal to Shekau were fighting those who are loyal to ISIS and ISIL. Because ISWAP had now come up, that is Islamic States of West African Province. Now, when they thought they had got him, he exploded his suicide vest, taking out himself and all the commanders who are asked to come and take him. Listen, if there was no global media and all that, why is it that African nations are so mendacious, outright liars, deceiving people? Instead of, listen, nobody can ever beat this Hydra if the entire nation doesn't work with you. You must build consensus in the entire nation. So that game has been going on, and that game continues. And what I'm saying here, there's no secret about it. Go and check out media globally. There's nothing I've said here that is even new. It's only that in Nigeria, where the media is so corrupt, and the ones that are not corrupt are moles, so they control what they want you to hear. And I'm really embarrassed and I'm ashamed. Let me mention something here that I find very annoying because of the alleged. Right now, the church in Nigeria is supposed to take the forefront in making this nation survive. Why do I say so? Because of the religious cover, the Islamist cover of this terror hydra, this local terror hydra. The mosque is under pressure. It's understandable. Every Muslim who says, no, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, I don't want to cooperate with just killing people, they take them out. So you would think that it's the church leaders who, on behalf of not only Christians, on behalf of Muslims, on behalf of everybody, the church is meant to step up. Since we are the first that were killed for the first 15 years that we were being killed. That's how, in the field, I gathered so much experience. I said to you that in those days when I began to talk about asymmetrical warfare, hybrid threats, I introduced those terminologies into the lexicon of the Nigerian public, because I remember talking about all these things. What makes me ashamed, honestly, is that people that God has positioned, who should be standing up, especially even in this government. There's one young man in this government, I hope I can remember his name, he's a minister. His father was butchered in Kaduna. In one of those skirmishes, I can't remember, I think it was a Zagun Kataf or so. He's a minister now.
Minister of Interior.
Minister of Interior. He was, I think, about 10 or 12 years old. His father refused.
Dr. Olubumi Tunjojo.
God bless you. His father is the Tunjojo there. His father was in the streets, died in his own blood. The man now who is whining and dining. Hello?
Why was his father killed?
Because he refused to convert.
From
Look, if I sit down and I give you, oh my God, the number of people who were killed just because they refused to convert under duress. Listen, one thing that has to be protected if Nigeria will make it is religious liberties. We'll come to that because there's a solution.
So what are you saying that the pastors are supposed to, the Christian religious leaders, what should they do?
I told you that you need to extract from your audience. First of all, I told you that there are two generations. There is a generation that I don't trust in Nigeria. My generations, older generations. I talked about 30 pieces of silver and people who are speaking from both sides of their mouth. And sometimes those who even want to speak, they speak in a way that it makes this matter even worse. So I told you that except your followers and your people in the younger generations, now what percentage of Nigeria is about 65? I think about 6% or so of Nigerians are about 65, above 65 years of age. The greater majority of Nigerians, and just like other African countries, are youth. Okay?
In fact, 42% are under like 15 and under. Almost half is 15 and under. Yeah, and the median age is 18 years old actually in Nigeria. So
okay, let me tell you what we are going to change now. I'm determined we are going to change this. Go to every African country. All their plans is for old people. Nobody has a plan for the younger generations. What nonsense. Nobody will be here forever. We are the circumcision. We worship God in the spirit. We rejoice in Christ Jesus. We have no confidence in the flesh. And I cannot imagine that our generations will come with all the advantages we enjoyed, with all the things that God has given to us. And then we sit down, we are watching a country in which young girls are going into prostitution, married women are going into prostitution. The poverty has been so weaponized. There's no truth anymore in the entire country. People are suffering. Brilliant people go to college, they come out, there's absolutely no employment for them. Then you go around and you know what the truth is? We have devalued life so much. We have completely devalued life so much. And let me tell you something about Nigeria. Nigeria's destiny is to be the redemption nation of Africa. And that's why I want you to do something on this your platform. Before the colonizers came, we were not speaking French or English. Thank God now for the advanced technologies, AI and all those things available. Make sure your program goes into French. Why am I saying so? To win this war, I want to give you a clue. If you are relying on this older generation of compromised persons, these persons who have surrendered to the Cairotarian conspiracy. Cairotera is the genus of a bat, B-A-T. They've surrendered to it. Many are ready to be so mendacious, they are not even ready to stand up for truth. They couldn't care less. It's a generation of Ahabs. But the best that we can do right now is for us to ideate the younger generations, equip them with understanding and knowledge that will help us to win this war in Nigeria. So it has to be all the youths of Africa, all the youths of West Africa. Listen, translate your program to French, because I'm going to be instructing some things and giving some counsel to the younger people. Break down the colonial barriers. All these so-called fake barriers that were erected to divide and rule Africa must come down now. It's part of it. Why? The Nigerian youth on their own cannot win this thing. But when we show you what to do, you will find out that it is very easy. So you need to show me that you can extract from your people some degree of complicity. That is not just talk. I'm not here to excite anybody. I'm too old for that. There has to be people who are ready for action. So over to you first, and let me hear what your own end is concerning that little plea of mine. Little plea.
Okay, so And I was also trying to say at that time that when you talk about young people in Nigeria, below the age of 15 makes 42%, but 15 to 64 makes about 57%. So, like you said, people that are older than 65, they are the minority, and it's quite sad. So what I'm to do is, but I also feel like, you know how why we were fighting the first interview is I was insisting that I need you to be more specific. I still feel like you have said a lot and you are still being meticulous, being kind of broad in some of the things you said. You bashed the Christian religious leaders, but you didn't say what they're supposed to do. Me, we're on the same page because I'm always talking about how they can do more. But some of them think that we are disrespectful because we are young people. We are saying that they are not doing more. But maybe if they hear from you telling us exactly what they should do, maybe it would have a meaning. Also, you are saying that we, the young people, that we need to break down the colonized, the mentality, the colonization mentality. Know what I'm saying, the barrier. You need to be more specific. Tell us exactly what you have in mind, how. So let's start with the pastors. Many of them, they will listen to you. You are older, because when we talk, they say we are disrespectful. What have they not been doing that they should be doing, or how have they failed that they can work on?
First of all, let us be very careful as we get started. Now, don't forget that I'm still a preacher. So, when Jesus ever saw a crowd, he spoke in parables. When he sees dedicated people, he will speak plainly. So whenever I see a crowd gather anywhere, I'm not very impressed. Because what it takes to change a nation is not just a whole multitude, but people who are dedicated. And what you want me to talk about are the things we say to dedicated people, not to those who are titillated by news and all that, and then they go away and do nothing. Now, let me say this to you quickly in answering for the church. This is not a time for the division of the church, first of all. No matter what mistakes anybody has made in the past, are you getting what I'm saying? We need to forgive anybody, whatever statements. Let me tell you something that you don't know about this Hydra. Some of the leaders of the church are being blackmailed. Not just the church, across the country. This Hydra is powerful. It has been working since the late 1990s. Some are being blackmailed, some are being coerced, some were lured. So the first thing you need to know is that I said the church needs to stand up to protect not only Christians, but also to protect Muslims, to protect enemies, and level the playing field if there's going to be a future for Nigeria. Now, let me tell you specifically what I need us to do for church leaders. Let's go to the war of narratives, first of all. Now, something is happening right now in Nigeria. Since Trump, God made him to come up with something that's very interesting. And what Trump came up with is a rescue plan. And if you listen to the wordings of what Trump said, and then you go and listen to what the church leadership is quoting in Nigeria, you will become afraid. Now, why am I saying this? I don't know if you have the Trump tweets there, so you can read it out and let us listen to what Trump actually had to say, and then let us compare it to what the media is reporting in Nigeria. It's a war of narratives.
I have Trump's tweets.
Yes.
I have Trump's tweet. I can read it. I want to beg of you, please tilt your camera a little bit side. This thing is cutting your head. We need to see the whole of you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
As long as they hear my voice, lift my face and my head, please.
He said if the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, in fact, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria and may very well go into that now disgraced country. Guns are blazing. to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast. That's his tweet, sir.
The Nigerian government better move fast, because if they don't move fast, who did he say is coming for? He said he's coming for the terrorists who are destroying Christians. Is that not what he said in his tweet?
Yes.
Now, let me tell you something, first of all, that we need to recognize in the church. God only says what he means, and he means what he says. Behind every war, the greatest war is the war of narratives. Bible says in Revelation chapter 12, check this out. In Revelation chapter 12, Bible says there was war in heaven. But the war started when God posted a narrative. A woman posted in the sun standing on the moon, wearing a garland of 12 stars. Her body was shining. She was pregnant. It was a narrative about a man-child. Then Satan replied with a counter-narrative. The next thing, there was war. In the Garden of Eden, okay, watch this. God does not tolerate when you take his word and twist it, or anybody's word and twist it. In the Garden of Eden, the dragon did not give the serpent a gun. He didn't give him an AK-47. He gave him a counter-narrative. Enter the garden. You and I know what happened to today. Now, Trump says, I'm warning your president. Why? Because the Bible itself, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, from verse 4, tells you that if you are the president of the country, you are a minister of God, ordained not to carry the sword in vain. You know the meaning of that? You must punish evildoers. So when manslayers, kidnappers, rapists, pedophiles are going scot-free in a nation, corruption has covered the land. Everywhere you turn to is lies all over the whole place. And then you say you have a president who carries a sword? What President Trump was telling him was this simple. I'm a leader like you. It doesn't matter whether you are Muslim, Christian, or anything. It is God that permitted you to be a leader. And when you are a leader, you are not meant to carry a sword in vain. But what he was telling President of Nigeria is that you are carrying that sword in vain. And if you do not deal justice, I am coming. I have a bigger sword than your own, and I'm coming to use it in Nigeria. Now, how does that translate to when the church leader begins to say, don't let Americans attack us. If America attacks us, please, who is us? This is war of narratives. Are people so gullible? Once you speak like that, you are already creating a vacuum. And to make matters worse, that fellow who should be behind the bars, that's Sheikh Gumi, who talks from 7 parts of his mouth, a man who in any same country should not even be walking free. Even the one I reported when he came back from Saudi Arabia first, and did his first tafsir in the prior interview we had. Any country by now that man will be behind bars. Saudi Arabia rejected him when he wanted to try to enter Saudi Arabia, but Nigeria opens up for him. Do you know what he's doing right now? He's going around the country building the war of narratives on the side of the terrorists in a clever way. He's going around the country trying to ingratiate the southern Muslims to join forces with them. I'm going to come to that. But this is what I'm trying to point out to you. If Gumi is saying, America cannot attack us, America cannot attack us, and the church too begins to repeat, America cannot attack us, what are you telling the Nigerian public? Who is the enemy here? Who is dividing life here? They first of all come out with all sorts of silly things about financial gain and this and that and that. Listen, the minister I talked, when his father was slain in Kaduna in the streets, who stood up for him? I don't want to start going into Andrew Northcott. I don't want to go to Booker Thompson's family. I don't want to go to Reverend Father Gajere. I don't want to start going into young, what's his name again? Who in Jos, they were shouting Allahu Akbar. Called his parents on the phone to listen as they slit his throat. I said to you, the first thing we must do is to blow the Islamic cover. And it's the church that should do it. So what am I trying to point out to our church fathers is this. Church fathers, church leaders in Nigeria, please, the war of narratives, you must say what you mean. And you must mean what you say. Because people can be very gullible in the war of narratives. If you speak in innuendos, you know there are sometimes somebody wants to preach on the pulpit, you hear him say, actually, still yet, but
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Okay, we
Yes.
lost you for a minute. Yes, we hear you
Okay.
now. It was frozen for a minute. Can you please summarize what you just said?
I just warning anybody on a pulpit, say what you mean what you say. Don't interpret like a serpent in the Garden of Eden. Trump never said he was coming to attack us. He said he was coming to enforce religious liberties and value to human worth.
It's breaking again. But I think you said Trump never said he's coming to attack us. Was that what you said? Because it was frozen again. You said Trump never said he was going to attack Nigeria.
Yes.
That pastors should not say what Gumi is saying. That's what you said, right?
Exactly. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, this is the work of...
Yes.
So I'm saying now that if pastors are saying that, they are dividing the country wrongly. If anything, we should be encouraging pastors to give value to the life of the Muslim. Give value to the life of every person. The young children who are being raped. Look at the recent nonsense debacle they put up for you to know how beastly we have become in Nigeria. They kidnapped people, brought them back. How many of them were raped? Nobody told us. Do you know how many people we received, who we took care of, girls? I remember a pathetic case. The girl had HIV. After she escaped, she had HIV. We had to arrange trauma counseling. How do you tell a 16-year-old girl, 14-year-old girl that she has HIV? Nobody cares that other people's children are being brutalized, they're being battered. As long as you can buy your own Jeep, as long as you can have your own, please. So what I'm saying now is that first of all, let ministers say only what they mean and let them mean what they say. Now, let me now give you an extra for that. Some years ago, I won't mention the year, we were in a northern state when we received a letter from the table of the governor of that state, who was an Islamist. We read it because the head of a massive church, the church has about 3-4 million, if not more, maybe 10 million members. He had come into that particular state and he preached on the pulpit, and he was so annoyed that he warned that, look, do you think you are the only one with monopoly of violence? Not knowing that we are monitoring internationally and locally. Now, what church leaders need to know is this. We had to leave that particular state and drive at least about 14 hours to another northern state to go and talk to that church leader. And we had to analyze something for him that I want us to listen to carefully now. We told him, the Islamists rejoice when church leaders talk carelessly. Why? They are going to interpret what you have said into Arabic. And they're going to twist it in the war of narratives to show how Nigeria hates Muslims. Nigeria wants to kill Muslims, which is not true. And when they do that, they use it to raise more funding all over the world, buy more ammunition, and they will give instruction that they must not kill that church leader. Why? Because what he's saying is very useful to them. So sometimes we try and get people to understand that listen first to counsel. War of narratives is delicate. You may think you are saying something good by boasting and shouting, we too we can do this, we too we can do that. You are not helping. You are making matters worse. So that's enough for now for the church, because we'll come back to the church later on. But for now, I think we need to recognize that the role of the church is crucial, but that is something we better do behind closed doors, not coming to say it in the public just yet.
Okay. All right. So you want to talk about how we can get rid of the barrier built up by the colonial masters?
Yes. How can we get rid of the barrier by the colonial masters? Now, don't be fooled. What we are up against here is both ancient and modern. Remember that the reason why Gumi seems to be influential in northern Nigeria is because his father used to be the Grand Kadi, both of Kaduna and of northern Nigeria. And remember, the rivalry in those days was based on the demonization of the Christian South. So that even in the civil service and in all things, there was an enmity based on the British legacy of divide and rule. Don't forget that there was a sense of entitlement. If you go and read the Dandogo Motion, 1958, Northern House, don't forget that this was engineered. It's not the fault of northern Nigeria. It was the colonial lords who preserved divide and rule based on religion. Okay? So what we are dealing with today is the Osama bin Laden upgrade, which is deadlier, more intelligent, more powerful, global, and it's a hydra. If you remember what I said about the hydra, it's not just religious. It is something that has a head in education, it has a head in governance, it has a head in politics, it is invested in practically every area of life, and they have spent many years doing that. Okay, so if we are going to destroy this thing and we are going to win this war, first of all, let me tell you the truth. The most in high places that are tolerating people like that boy's son, Ahmed Gumi, the father was one who in 1962, he toured the Middle East. If you remember the national, what's they call that body, that was the Islamic body that was formed in Nigeria in 1962, it was his father's influence, okay? But his father, let's tell the truth, my friend Abu Bakr, let anybody ask who Abu Bakr is in Ghana, who fled to Ghana. 1987, it was a Christian convert, Kafanchan, who began to preach. When he began to preach, they beat him up and left him for dead. They thought they had killed him. But Christians gathered around and he revived. When he revived, listen to me, go and check the headlines of those days. And I think there was one popular newspaper in those days that put a report on Abu Bakr. The federal government declared him wanted. The army was looking for him. The police were looking for him. What for? For preaching. They said he is worthy of death as a former Muslim. Why should he become a Christian? And the older Gumi, he told me the story himself. The person who was hunted down, who was being hunted, Abu Bakr, he's still alive right now. He's in Ghana, so you can call him because he had to, leave the country. The elder Gumi, it was reported to him that they said, bring him to me. I will personally take his head off for what he did. Now, a country that plans to be the Redeemer nation of Africa cannot afford such divisions. So what is it that the country must do? Now, the biggest problem we have in Nigeria is not 450,000 terrorists. You know why? If we knock out, listen, it's a hydra, it has many heads. But if we want to deal with it, we go for its heart. Now, let me tell you a simple truth now, why we must go for its heart and why it is not a coincidence that it is America that God has raised to come and help us. There's something that America has that Islamist terrorism hates. In fact, between you and I, they call America the Great Satan. That's what they call America. Why is America the Great Satan? Look, all iniquity, all demonic perversions that devalue human worth are all based on only one thing. Unfortunately for us, the foundation of America is laid on the cure to what is troubling Nigeria. Let me put it like this. There are only two nations in this world right now. The nations that exploit the fact that all men are not born equal. They rejoice in it. Men are not born equal. But there are nations that do what? Celebrate the truth, eternal truth, that all men are created equal. In a nation that builds a foundation on all men, oh, thank you. Where did you get a picture of my friend? That's him. Still looking as young as ever. He's an old man. Oh. Don't let anybody do it. As tough as nails. That's one of the leaders of the church in Nigeria. When I talk about credibility, who laid down his life and is still doing the same till today. Where was I? Now, when America said, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. It means that whether your father is a federal minister, or your father is a bicycle repairer, or is a hunter, when you are born, your value is the same. Now, we are helping America too, because America doesn't know this. Most Americans think that their country is a geographical country. No, it's not. When the founding fathers of America cried out to God in their hour of trouble, it is the same Britain that colonized us that colonized them. And when they cried out to God in their hour of trouble, God saved them and put something in their hand. I'm not interested in what men did. I'm interested in what God did. What God did was to put into their hands a statement meant for every nation of the world. Give value to your citizens. All men are created equal. But most nations prefer to exploit, like Nigeria now, weaponization. And that is what Dr. Ahmed Gumi is trying to propagate all over the whole place. That all men are not born equal. So some people are inferior, some people are superior. Now, that creed is what we need to inject into the Nigerian foundation. So let me now digress a bit. I don't think it's a mistake in 1996. The best performance of our young people. I don't know if anybody here remembers Olympic soccer, Los Angeles, 1996. Amunike, Kanonwako, Amokachi, and who was it again? All those young boys then. The best performance in soccer that we have ever seen. Listen, nobody gave them a chance. Those boys came home with gold. God is talking to Nigeria. Not only Nigeria, God is talking to Africa. Because the victory in Los Angeles was not just about Nigeria. That soccer victory was the whole of Africa, was cheering. And if we are doubting it again, let me give you another witness. There's something they call the miracle at Daman. 4 goals down. How many minutes to go? Who thought it was possible? A FIFA-ranked competition. We beat Russia. Nigeria came back from the impossible. It was the youth. It was the youth. As I am right now, I'm not putting my trust in any old cargo, an old set of entitled people who don't care about other people's families. They have no, as long as you can buy a small car, build one funny little house, they don't know that in a country where there's value for the life of every citizen, what you're using to do big man is what poor. Look, there are some countries where it is better to be poor in that country than to be rich in Nigeria. So what am I trying to point out to you? The salvation of Nigeria is in the young people. And I want to show you where the real enemy is and what the young people have to do. This is what America is offering. The American eagle and the Nigerian green eagle have to work together. The American eagle is older. This is my parable of 2 eagles. We saw the young people performing. Every great thing Nigeria has done has come from the young people. So why is it that in governance, all the plans is about old people, never about young people? We want to hear comments about what is going on in the country. Old people will just be talking their own, and all they're saying has no reckoning with the future. How can a country live by planning on the past, the prisons of the past? There are many things that I'd like to address. Do you know that if we allow the young people, they will resolve all the differences in Nigeria? They will use the advantages of the digital divide. We can move Nigeria to the forefront of civilization, and that's why we need America. Not just because of 450,000 terrorists in total. Those ones are too small. Next Sunday, I'm going to be having a program. Yeah, I think it's next Sunday, to reveal the real enemy that Nigeria must fear. And you will do me the favor of please helping to invite people, because I want to unmask the real enemy. I will give you a hint of who the real enemy is. 2007, Christiana Oluwashesi. I don't know, I should have sent you a picture where I was carrying the child she left behind, the 2 children she left behind, and her husband. When the Macedonian Initiative got involved, we were aghast. Children by nature are not killers. Children are not killers by nature. The people who slaughtered their Christian religious teacher in government-day secondary school in Gandu in Gombe were children. Why? Because in the evening, they go for Islamic classes. In the morning, they're in school, and they had a Christian religious teacher, Christiana Oluwasesin, who was helping out. She was so diligent and everything. And the imam, whose nickname was the Angel of Death in that town, radicalized the students. They came and picked the teacher on one funny charge. Fake, all this fake. It's not new. They teach them what to do. Before you knew what was happening, they were shouting Allahu Akbar. The principal, who is a Muslim, came in, rescued that woman, took her to his office. Can you imagine children broke down the principal's door and warned him, we will kill you too. Children became ravaging monsters for a few hours. Not only did they beat that woman to death, they doused her and burnt her body to death. I have the pictures. I would have shown it if not that there are restrictions on the internet. When they burnt her body to death, let me show you how bloodthirsty these young vampires had become. They remember she's nursing a baby, and the child was in the house by the gate. They ran to that place to go and collect that baby, to kill her baby as well as the mother. Having burnt the mother, burnt her car. Fortunately for us, on Sunday, the young man who rescued the baby, God quickly prompted him. He went to that place, collected the baby before the students got there, took the baby to the police station for the police to take care of the baby. Do you know the school children went there demanding, just like they did for Akamuka in Kanu? The students went there to demand that the baby be brought out so that they can kill the baby. Are children natural killers? No. Deborah Samuel, or whatever her name was, in Swakoto, was that not the same thing? Let me warn everybody now. In southern Nigeria, your children are learning, going online to go and show their body parts. And in southern Nigeria, you are busy teaching your children the fineries of, you know what I'm saying, sophistication and all that nonsense. Trust me, if I tell you how many millions have been radicalized, 16 children who were charged then in Gombe. I personally, our team in Macedonia Initiative, we took on a senior advocate of Nigeria. You know what that cost? In those days, basically 1 million that we paid first. Pius Akubo, one gentleman like this, what's his name? He came on the best recommendation. Do you know he pursued that case? They refused to sit. The judiciary was involved. Anjuma Goje, the governor at that time, will cite security reasons, and then at the end of the day, sort of threw the case out, asked us to go to a neighboring state for hearing of a crime that was committed. Some of my staff almost died when I asked them to go and collect some more information. They had to scale a wall because those people were just ready to kill. Now, those 16 children, that was 2007, I think. How old are they now? Are they working in an office somewhere? How many of them are already in the House of Reps? How many of them are working free? Now, apart from the educated ones who have been radicalized, let's go to a state like Kano. I had an office in Kaduna with my very good friend I call General, John Joseph Haya, where we used to feed Almajiris, take care of them and all that. It's not the fault of those children. They are being used. Do you know that there's nothing less than a standing army of 7 to, if not 15 million young people who have been conditioned that if a certain signal goes out, these are the things that the sultans know. These are the things that the Sheikh Gumis know. So while Nigeria is busy fixating on terrorists that we can take out in 2 weeks, the sleeper cells, the ones who have been programmed, who need to be deprogrammed, are there, mixing with you in your office. Some of them are working in hospitals. Some of them are working in the telecom industry. Some in media. They're around you. They've killed before. But will they tell you that? I can tell you from my own experience, many of them, when their conscience cannot take it, they used to come and confess to us because they can't sleep. Now, what am I trying to point out now? The youths from all over Africa, West Africa, need to join the youths in Nigeria. And we need to speak with one voice. What America has is this. All men are created equal must be put into the foundation. Listen, Nigeria never had founding fathers. What we had was liberation fathers. I can give you the quotes from Zeke, Obafemi Awolowo from the Sedona. I can give you the quote. In fact, I remember that the first Prime Minister of Nigeria, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, in the 7th of October in 1960, he said something. He was at the United Nations when he made a speech, and he foresaw what is happening in Nigeria today. He mentioned the 3 faiths that we are swearing in. He mentioned intractable problems. And he said, long after his name is forgotten, how many people remember Abubakar Tafawa Balewa in Nigeria history today? He said, long after you have forgotten who I am. He said, when you need to solve the problem of Nigeria, you know what he said we should use? He said we should go and look for eternal truths, or what the way he put it. Yes, truths that are eternal. Undeniable truths. What is the undeniable truth? Is that not what is in the foundation of America? Americans think that their country is geographic. Americans don't realize that it is not just all Americans that are created equal. It's all men that are born equal. So if Trump comes with a mandate that God put in the foundation of America to demand of Nigeria, it is God telling Nigeria, Nigeria, you are the lead country of Africa. There are countries around you that need to be liberated. The Francophone countries are the worst. They treated them so shabbily, so badly, that there's hardly any life. Look, I told you, 125,000 children are born daily in Africa. To what? To what promise? A promise of shame. A promise of scarcity. Is it because of the few people that come from Nigeria here and there, and those who are fortunate to born into families that have some wealth behind them? The average African child, let me tell you something, 95 out of every 1,000 that are born are likely to die at birth. If I show you the figures for sub-Saharan Africa, how many will ever make it to the age of 50? Is this the life of a human being or the life of a beast? So the people who are affected most are the youth. But the older people have the wisdom, but not the integrity. So that's why I'm saying to you, use your platform. I'm going to show the youth that what America is bringing, forget about all the politics and all that. Number one, value to human worth. We must cement it in the Nigerian foundation. Number two, America has a form of governance that had never existed before until 1787, when they wrote their first constitution. Now, Nigeria keeps talking about constitution. It's not about constitution. Let me tell you what I'm saying now. United States Constitution is 4,400 words. Zimbabwe is 55,000 plus, 55,883 words. Zimbabwean Constitution. Apart from Zimbabwe, we have the Ugandan, 49,448 or something like that words. Nigerian Constitution is already 66,263 words, verbose and long and useless. That constitution is so flawed, it's not worth tissue paper. So the declaring of an emergency by the president means nothing. Let me tell you the strategy that is going on right now. They are buying time. The Hydra is very patient. Gumi is going around Nigeria building consensus, further dividing the country. They know that there are global conventions. So for Trump to come and interfere, they are trying to show that all Nigeria is united, that America wants to attack us. You see what I'm saying? Now, the Nigerian constitution till today is useless. So the Nigerian youth, combination of North and South, we are not two countries, we are one. We must mobilize youth across the divide, across religion, across tribe, across everything, and then we are going to teach them to demand a tropicalized American-style democracy. America is not a democracy, it's a democratic republic. So the help we need from America goes beyond boots on ground to come and clear all these people. No. What we really need from America is the foundation that makes a democratic republic to work. Number two, we are not going to copy it whole-hearted. We have to tropicalize it. I have already written a proposal for one of the African countries, which they are looking at right now. Instead of a three-legged democracy, we need a five-legged democracy. We need to add a house of faith and a house of tradition to the presidency, to the judiciary, and to the upper and lower house, to the upper and lower houses. So if we have a five-legged stool, we will tropicalize it. We will produce the best democratic republic ever seen, and you will see what will happen in Nigeria. Once the value of everybody's life becomes okay, it will spread. It's a domino effect. The rest of Africa will be saved. But there's still one more thing. And this is the thing that I may stop on today. And let's take maybe some questions and all that, because I could go on forever. Listen to me. What we need the most from America is not just the foundation of all men created equal. If anybody says all men are not created equal in Nigeria, then you can't be part of Nigeria. Go away. All the mischief you are playing is based on you preaching to people that all men are not born equal. So you think it's okay to oppress some people's children. I schooled in Ahmadu Bello University, so I know what I'm talking about in terms of practical terms. Some of my sons who are spread all over northern Nigeria, some of them escaped this trap by joining the army. Some of them is because they were brilliant and they got scholarships. And you would expect people like that funny fellow who ruled Kaduna for a while to appreciate what God has done for him. Instead, he joined the oppressors. And we are not talking about him now. He shouldn't be walking free. So what am I saying that we need to give to the youth is this? There's something that America has, apart from the foundation of born equal, apart from a unique self-repairing constitution, balance of powers. But we have to tropicalize that. What we need right now is to look for the leadership of youth and let us instruct them on non-violent direct action. Number of youths in Nigeria, I give them 6 weeks. They will secure the cooperation of the president. And no gun. This is not like Lekki toll gate. No. This is a more advanced architecture of thought. Once the youth can build their synergy together, not only in Nigeria, across the borders, the action will be demanding of Nigeria, not only from within Nigeria, but from Togo, from Cote d'Ivoire, I'm telling you, from Zimbabwe, from across Africa. Everybody's going to face the Nigerian government to tell them, you are the champion of Africa. Enough nonsense. Look, a lot of people are saying divide Nigeria. You can't divide Nigeria. Nigeria has a prophetic appointment with destiny. We are to deliver the rest of Africa. So we are asking all African youths, join together when we teach you non-violent direct action. Within 6 weeks, in a democratic republic, the president has no option. Listen, I had a headline in those days, how many years ago? 2012, when I told President, what's his name now? Jonathan, you are a wartime general. If we secure the numbers of young people, we want to tell President Ahmed Tinubu, listen, there's a war. It's not a matter of emergency now. We are going to declare war, but we better be careful. Anything you do, there's a trust deficit already. We don't want any more stories. We want to see action. So with non-violent direct action, trust me, we will make sure that everybody understands the war, everybody knows their role, and we'll join hands together, north and south, and we will win this war. And when we win, West Africa is next. So non-violent direct action. That's what we're going to teach them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything that you said. And thank you. I do have some questions, but I'm going to throw it out to the audience first and foremost. But please, while I'm taking the question from the audience, please put in mind that you need to tell us what this direct action is. If you are willing to talk about that today, it would be really nice to know the direct action, the peaceful action that young people can take. I do have a number of questions from the audience, and if you have other questions, if you're watching this, first and foremost, let me thank everybody that has joined us. I truly appreciate you all. Please, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe, because it encourages me to bring more interviews like this to you guys. So please hit that subscribe button and the bell button so you know each time we're live. Also, I'm grateful a number of people donated money to my YouTube channel while they're watching. I truly appreciate you. Thank you so much. So, but I wanted to take some of the questions because there were a number of people when you were talking about the US, and they are not like, opposing what you're saying per se. They just want to know what you think about this. There are a number of people who are saying that America itself has created is terrorizing some countries. That's not the only one that I wanted to read. Someone wrote in here asking me about Operation Timber Sycamore. What if the problem is, what if the problem is the CIA, not the Nigerian government? Also, this person was asking, what about Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, and so on and so forth? What has happened to those nations since America invaded or intervened? I am a Christian. This person is saying that they are a Christian. They're Christian. They just want to know what you think about this. So there's a number of comments like that. And personally, myself, I'm also concerned about the fact that there are so many countries that the US has intervened, and then things didn't get better. At least initially, when Trump said that he was going to go to Nigeria, that was my very first reaction personally as well. And then not long ago, a video surfaced where Trump himself was saying that we've been to so many countries that we have no business going to. We just, quite frankly, we go in there, we just bomb everybody. We don't really know what we're doing. So Trump himself said something like this. So for people who have these concerns, especially based on history, and I know that, like, right now, a lot of Nigerians are like, we don't even care anymore. Whoever wants to come, anybody, just let anybody come. But for people who have that kind of concern, going by history, the places that the US has been to, and the things that happened, like in Libya, in Afghanistan, where the terrorists have taken over government despite the war that lasted for so long, what do you have to say for people who have this concern?
Good. This answer, I'm going to dedicate it to the memory of Reverend Pastor Adeola of the Baptist Church. I'm going to dedicate this answer to him. I believe he should still be alive. His daughter should be alive. One of his daughters was macheted on this head. She had mental health issues. Nigeria didn't take care of her. His only son, the man said to me, look what they did to my son. When they saw that his son and the sisters were in the church, when Allah Akbar shouting youths attacked, they butchered his son. The father said to me, he had only turned 21 some weeks earlier. And the father said to me, look what they did to my son. Now let me answer the question everybody's asking. The American record, whatever it is not what I'm relying on. As a matter of fact, I'm one of the people who led a team and helped to organize, working in cooperation with people of good intention across the world, when there was a hearing in America, 2012, on Nigeria. The reason why we were in a rush then was because complaints were coming to me from northern Nigeria that American dollars, to the tune of $600 million, was being used to fund the Boko Haram. And the American Secretary of State at that time did not give us any reason not to believe it was true. I remember that when we went for that hearing, and Nigeria made a presentation, the American system brought 20-something experts to come and counter what we had to say. At that time, they were saying it's headsmen, is this, is that, and all that. But we were way ahead of the game. We made a presentation that was clear. We are coming from Nigeria. Please. I wrote a policy upgrade. They have this, what they call interfaith dialogue, whatever they call it. They were using it to increase terrorism. And that was the United States of America. Now, let me say something to you right now. God uses the foolishness of this world to confront those.
America was funding terrorism in Nigeria. That's what you're saying.
Oh, yes. So when we went, but this is what I'm saying about the auto-correcting value of a system whose foundation respects human worth. America is controlled, policy is controlled by lobby systems. So if you're wise enough to go and state your case clearly, look, the moment we left Washington, a plane brought high-level officials to come and talk to the Nigerian president, deceived him to write a letter that he didn't support what we came to do, which was what? We wanted the FTO designation, Foreign Terrorist Organization designation, on the Boko Haram. And they were saying, no, it is multiple. You see this argument that you are hearing now is the same stupid argument. That narrative, that no, it's a complex thing. No, it's not complex. It's a hydra. It is opportunistic. They came to Nigeria, went to the presidency. I remember the camp president called me and said, Ladi, this thing has put us in more trouble. I said, no, just wait a while. Unalloyed truth. Truth never fails. Put your life on the truth and stand by it. Whether here or in eternity, it never fails. Let's put the future of Nigeria, of Africa, based it on truth. That never fails. Eternal truth, as Abubakar Tafawa Balewa suggested to us. So what am I trying to point out to you? Yes, the same America was complicit. Because if once we got the FTO later, but the only reason we got the FTO later was because an American ambassador was killed in Benghazi. And America was complicit in funding the people who killed the American ambassador. And to Americans, you don't kill an American because all men are created equal. Talk less of an ambassador. So what am I trying to get across to you? The more reason we need to recognize that Trump is a phenomenon. Listen to me. All the position papers that talk about the future, none supports what Trump is doing. Go and read Henry Kissinger. He talks about the Chinese dragon. He talks about the Russian bear, the sword of Islamism, and Westphalia, which is the Western world's idea. They don't reckon with the African life as worth anything. But all of a sudden, they didn't expect a Trump. Nobody expected him to come back. And when he came back, I said something. I said, the reason I welcome Trump, I'm a Trumpite, not a Trumptard. Anybody who goes to the presence of God and has understanding will know that what this man is doing, honestly, I said something, he's called for the globe, not just America. America has become indulgent in its prosperity. And God brought somebody out all of a sudden to help America to realize that your bargain with God, with your founding fathers, was to be a beacon of liberty. So all of a sudden, here comes a man who disobeys all the rules. Here comes a man, and the Bible tells us that the heart of kings is in the hand of God. Look, who has ever stood up for the value of human worth in Nigeria before? Is it because our people are used to poverty? Is it because our people have been so cowed that they hail the people who are destroying them? Now, what makes me ashamed is that those of us who saw the 10 golden years of the Western region will expect that the Southwest, who are the custodians of a gift of God, should be the ones to stand against the corruption, the devaluation of human worth because of the Omoluabi ethos, which you can trace to God in his office as creator. I made a presentation, the US Congress auditorium once on that, in one UN Track 3 meeting. Somebody made a presentation on the Levant, the former president, I think, of Yugoslavia or so. I spoke after him. And I'm telling you something, we have a treasure in the Southwest. So it is not coincidental that the president of the country right now is in the Southwest. Why? Because when we talk about the Americans saying, we hold this truth to be self-evident, all men are created equal, that's what Omotiolu Iwabi, if you translate it, that's what it actually means. And that's why when the 7th century, Oduduwa left a treasure in the hand of the Southwest. You would expect the Southwest to be the one championing the value of human worth. But what do we have? A complete denial. Look, let me tell you something. There's a destruction of the cultural nation of the Omoluabis going on right now. A chain is only as strong as the weakest link. If we permit this nonsense that is going on, a gift given for 1,000, listen, let me tell you this. Everybody was excited at the film. What's that film called? Black Panther. Can you remember it? Black Panther? Now, what if I tell you that there's a real Black Panther in Nigeria that is supposed to help Nigeria and help the rest of Africa? The real Black Panther, if you go and read the New York Times, 1911, Google it. Headlines were screaming that the Atlantis, the ancient advanced civilization, has been discovered in West Africa by one Leo Frobenius, a German anthropologist. They found evidence in Ile-Ife, the terracottas, just like the Wakanda film. They found evidence of advancement that they said, after accommodating it, they said this civilization was ahead of pre-Renaissance Europe. So they concluded that there must have been a white civilization in Ile-Ife, in West Africa before. And they went on exhibitions showing the advanced technology. They were showing the advanced craftsmanship. They were showing the greatest advances. And do you know why the exhibition stopped suddenly? The people going to the exhibition began to notice that, wait, these exhibits, The people there have thick lips. Their nose resembles that of our daughter Adeola Fayehun. These people, all their features are Africoid. They are African features. Do you know, for you to know that this thing of supremacy has been around for a long time in the world, they stopped all those exhibitions instantly and hid all those artifacts instantly. Now, what am I trying to point out to you? They knew it was an African civilization, but they knew that if our people know about it, then our people want to go back. Now, let me say something quickly. This is not the time to go about stupid fetishism. I'm talking about advanced science and technology here in those days. And the custodians of that secret are the people of the Southwest who are called Yoruba today. But I had a meeting with Professor Adeajayi before he died, Professor Akijobi. We were both, the three of us, were on the TV in London many years ago, unraveling this issue. And I knew that in God's time, the Southwest is meant to supply a gift to the nation, just like all other parts have gifts to supply. Like the Igbos have their own. Everybody can contribute something. I'm ashamed of that Southwest. Instead of offering integrity, instead of offering value to human worth, which will have joined in this madness, any problem that money cannot solve will be solved by more money. Nonsense! This is a culture that has a different expression for wealth. A wealthy man, a rich man, the words that describe them are different. Olowo, Oloro, Olola. Look, the descriptions are so different, the proverbs are so different, that this is what we should be gifting the country with. Obafemi Awolowo, in his time, had he had the opportunity, would have gifted Nigeria with it. We now have the opportunity. And what are we gifting Nigeria with? More corruption. So please, where was I said? I don't vet.
So thank you so much. So you just addressed the whole concern about the US. I'm just asking questions. And then a number of people have been asking in the comment section. Once again, if you're watching, if you have questions for him, please put it, because I'm already picking people's questions. So a lot of people have been saying that they want to know the immediate solution. Also, some people are more specific. Can Nigeria youth take over power from this old elite? Basically, there is a lot of questions about what the immediate solution is and what young people should do. And I'm going to read one other comment from the people asking what the immediate solution is. So this person is saying that they are thinking that maybe this is what you have in mind. Sit at home protest is the same thing I've been saying too. Then no go come and SAS person, then no go come and SAS person for him house. Okay, so what do you want young people to do? Are you saying that we should sit at home and then the country will feel our impact? You said it's peaceful, but you are yet to say it. What is
I said
it
non-violent. I said non-violent.
Yeah, you said it's non-violent. Yes. So
Good.
What is it?
I will tell you the practical things that we have to do right now. First of all, we need to mobilize all generations in Nigeria, not just Nigeria right now, to make it clear that if what America is offering us, contrary to what we have seen America do before, if what America is offering us right now is to come and give value to the life of the average citizen, America is not asking to attack us as a nation, but it wants to take out all the people who have been murdering Christians, creating a genocide. What we need to do right now, first of all, is to accept that the kinetics is a part of the solution. Number one, the kinetics, I'm talking about the gunplay, the whatever. We need to take out all those terrorists. Nigeria doesn't have what it takes on its own. Why? We have moles in high places. So the country has to develop the courage, the moral will, to realize that cowards die thousands of times before their useless death finally. We need to have elders who will wake up from their slumber and wake up from their complacence, their cowardice, who will get up and prepare for the future and galvanize elders across the nation. Stop speaking from two sides of the mouth. Encourage the president. Build a coalition across the entire country and encourage the president. Number one, we are going into a state of war. Not a war for you to advance your political advance, a war to reformat the country. And we are going to empower you to cooperate with America. And we will go into the war of narratives to show I personally have too many friends in northern Nigeria, apart from the Muslims, also Christians. We are not going to divide Nigeria. We are going to build a moral will and cooperate to take out. We will prove, not just taking people out anyhow, who was behind sentencing Sunday Jackson for defending his life. We can prove who killed Sunday Achi, who gave the instruction, who supervised his killing in a mosque. Proof will be supplied. We can go after these things with forensic articulation. And we will work together with the American Eagle and the Green Eagle of Nigeria to take care of the kinetics. But that's not all. Our problems are systemic. Even if you killed all the terrorists and leave Nigeria the way it is, they will still come back with greater force. There must be no vacuum. So what am I saying now? That systemic problem that they refused to address at the beginning, that they could not address in Awolowo's days. Listen, the new constitution we have doesn't have to be as verbose as that toilet paper that we are using right now, which is not protecting anybody's life. We need to have a real constitution, we, the people of Nigeria, voluntarily, because we are going to build their code. People like us, everybody has friends across everywhere. We do it voluntarily. And then we are calling for an emergency session. I would rather that the president builds a coalition across all divides. We are not interested in a next election. I said this the last time election was coming up. A next election is to sign a death sentence. I said it then. It's still applicable now. Because these people are waiting for Trump to leave office. They are buying time. They are playing games. They are playing check moves. Our government is falling into that trap, hoping that Trump will leave governance or something will happen, forgetting that we ourselves, we are one heartbeat away from trouble. So what am I saying? In the state of war, while we are dealing with those dissidents, we must now make Nigeria an exemplary nation. Let me quickly give you an idea of what some of the founding fathers, there's a difference between liberating a nation and laying a foundation. Nobody ever laid a foundation for Nigeria. So it's time to obey Abubakar Tafawa Balewa's counsel. Look, John Adams said something. He said the American Constitution was made only for a moral and a righteous people. It is totally inadequate to govern any other kinds of people who are immoral. So we need to add a house of faith whose job, they will be sponsored by the faiths. The playing field must be level, but their job is to protect morals and value standards. A house of traditions, after we finish granulating these things, adding it to what we have right now, their job will be to protect the value of the human worth. Listen, they say tribalism is bad. It's a lie. If it was bad, why did God use it in the Bible? It's just that the misuse of it is what is not good. We don't need to believe Western propaganda. So what we're saying here is that there are theses written on all these things. And we just need to have a house of traditions where if anybody cheats anybody, devalues the life of any of your citizens under you, that house of traditions acts as a counterbalance that can allow the judiciary and set rules, procedures will be laid out. We must lift the value of the life of the Nigerian citizen to a level beyond that of the American citizen as it is today. Not only that, let me tell you there are many things missing in the shambolic democracy. If we continue with this thing, the terrorists will take over us completely. I'll give you one firewall, for example, that we must add. Benjamin Franklin, at the conference in 1787 in America, said something. He said, sir, there are two extreme passions which have a powerful influence on all men everywhere. And he said, these ambitions, this is one, ambition. Two, avarice. The love of power and the love of money. And he said, separately, each one of it spurs men to action. Okay? He says, but when you now unite the two in an office, in a political office, people will kill to get there. They will kill to stay there. So this is what is missing. No checks and balance in Nigeria. Place before the eyes of such men a post of honor, which at the same time is a place of profit, of money making. They will move heaven and earth. And that's why Nigeria is like this. We need to put firewalls into the new constitution, the five-legged tropicalized democratic republic. We need to put this kind of firewalls. If you want to be president of Nigeria, you can't want to be looking for money. Thomas Jefferson, if any nation expects to be ignorant and free, that nation is expecting something that can never be and has never been before. So we have to realize that there are firewalls that have to, and that's why I said to you, the partnership with the American Eagle, we are not going to fold our hands expecting somebody from outside to come and save us. Everything I'm saying here is because Nigeria is the redemptive nation of Africa. So it's not what America is going to do that matters. It's what we are doing that matters. We're not just going to come in and say, hey, come and do this, come and do this. By the time they leave, we'll be in bondage again. But if we are saying, listen, we thank you for saying that all men are created equal, we believe it too. In 1979, the influence of Jimmy Carter on Obasanjo is the reason why we have an American-style democracy. But I told the Americans here, I told some of the Americans here, I said, you give us a shiny body, a car that is very shiny, and you put motorcycle engine inside for us. And then it dawned on me that it's not them, we are the ones. Do we need Americans to come and think for us? We may rely on their experience, and we need to do better. What I'm saying now is this. If we follow what I'm saying here, not only will we erase the lines of division in Africa, there will be a cooperative in Africa. First of all, Nigeria will leap to the forefront. Listen, 10 golden years of Western region alone. Have people forgotten that within 10 years in the Western region, we had the first television station before Germany had television, before France had television? Were we not the ones? Do you think people in the world know that? That the royal family in Saudi Arabia, their annual checkup was done in the UCH in Ibadan. Do you want me to go and bring the asset base in trillions that Obafemi Awolowo left behind? The moment you were born as a child into the Western region, you were a millionaire. Do you think a people who have had such a past should be settling for the rubbish that we are settling for, when the idea is for us to spread what we have across Nigeria selflessly? I am going to address the Igbo nation separately. They set traps for them. The Igbos, I don't know, even right now, let me just quickly state this quickly to the Igbo nation. Every time they want to draw attention away from important things and create trouble in Nigeria, the people who spin, they provoke Igbos, hoping that Igbos will come out and just do some wrong things, wrong reactions, so that focus will shift and then they will kill Igbos. Please, I'm begging, don't fall into that trap. We're going to be having a parley later on with the younger generation. The concept of Biafra, the history of Biafra, the event of Biafra, the trauma of Biafra. Thank God for the statements that Gawan made, but that's not enough. We need to revisit that past with non-violent communication, and then we need to handle it. Now, how do we do this? And the people are asking, is it like a toll gate Lekki? No, this is far superior. These are the days of artificial intelligence. The younger generation has certain tools, and I don't want to go long into it, but remember something. India was able to get its independence with non-violence. Jesus Christ did not shoot one gun. Ajayi Crowther was kidnapped by Fulani in 1821. He was instrumental to laying the foundations of Nigeria. He did not use one catapult. I'll tell you what is happening. This is it. For those Christians asking me questions, let them go and talk to their pastors. Jesus Christ, the Prince of Peace, has paid the price for peace in every nation of the world, including Afghanistan. And any set of people who claim to have the Holy Spirit claim that they see things before they happen. That's a powerful advantage. Now, why is there no peace in Nigeria? Why then are we facing all this? If you open Romans chapter 3, you will see the reason. And if the church will humble itself, this is what I plan to roll out this revelation to the Nigerian church too. Romans chapter 3, the Bible says, their feet are swift to shed evil. Their mouth is full of curses. Doesn't that describe the church in Nigeria now? And the next verse says, you know why? The way of peace, they don't know it. They have not known it. The way of peace is a revelation. It should be the preserve of the church to activate the way of peace as Thomas Fowell Buxton did activate the way of peace as the way William Wilberforce did when they were taking us as slaves. They didn't shoot one gun, but they persuaded the British Navy. At the end of the day, the British Navy, 1/6 of their Navy came to patrol our waters to capture anybody attempting slavery. So what am I trying to point out? All this one of giving guns to young people, please forget all that nonsense. There's a way of peace. The kinetics can be taken care of by those that God has given authority to carry the sword. I wrote a letter to the leaders of the church in Kaduna many years ago. When the killing got too much, they began to talk about youths killing other people. I said, no, God will not tolerate it. Anybody who is licensed to kill must be licensed from above. And I said, if that is what we want to do, then let us go for gun laws in Nigeria. Let us legislate. All this nonsense they are making now. It's just that we don't want that future for our country yet. If push comes to shove and the country doesn't listen, we will move a massive lobby and every family will carry its own gun. Now, we don't want that because a nation where poverty has been weaponized, it will create mayhem for now. But it is better for the authorities to realize that that card, we are holding it in reserve. So let us cooperate with non-violent conversation, non-violent direct action, which is more than what you saw in Lekki. Non-cooperation, when it is used creatively, and when the church has activated the force of the way of peace, we will protect the mosque, we will protect the sin, we will protect everybody, the shrines, because freedom of choice is what God wants for everybody. Nobody must be forced. Nobody should use the religion to divide us. The Omoluabi ethos, for 1,600 years, is one of the few cultural nations in the world that has never had any religious war. If we borrow from Ujamaa, we borrow from Ubuntu, and we bring the best from all over Africa into what we are forming afresh in Nigeria, we will be at the forefront of civilization. Trust me, this is something we can do. There are details I can't go into now because, excuse me, your enemy plans for 50 years. You want to talk for 15 minutes. And remember what I said to you, the miracle at Daman. If you can't get the young people to cooperate, I'm not interested in appearing. I'm not a social media personality. I'm not interested in that. There's a future and we must make it. We will use your platform to roll out a lot of these things if you are agreeable to God's glory. However, this is not games. People are dying. Children are crying. Young girls, 13-year-old, 14-year-olds are being raped. And Gumi is going around the country and speaking and people are entertaining him. How many people? Look, don't let me go into details. Mothers cry. Go and ask Archbishop Idahosa. Thank God for her life. Go and ask Bishop Mike's wife. Thank God for her life. And some of the leading women in Nigeria. When we tried our best to build consensus, and we couldn't. I went to Benin and I spoke to Archbishop Idahosa's wife. She mobilized across the country. We knew the effect of what we did. When Nigeria was going to trouble, there's a group to which I belong that I am the youngest person there, the budding elders of Nigeria, Dr. Christopher Kolade, Professor Anya, and Gawan too comes in every now and then as a statesman, Philip Asiodu and co. Look, whenever we get together, the way of peace, there was the time Nigeria was boiling. All they had to do was speak. The temperature of the country came down. So what am I trying to point out? A lot of people cannot afford to think because of poverty. But there's a role for every Nigerian. Those in America, I'm coming to them. You have no right to be enjoying the American liberty. They paid for it. Their history paid for it. The checks and balances they put, some people died for it. Then you see one Nigerian still cursing Nigeria all the time. We know what Nigeria did to you is not good. But haven't you entered a place that God has shown you by example what can be possible? Try and rally some of the Nigerians abroad and let us work to make Nigeria better. All you hear is this, the noise of ingrates. As if the country they entered, other people didn't pay for it. I don't want to get in that direction. But I'm saying to you, in the future, little by little, here a little, there a little, we will roll out these things. We've been working on this for almost 25 years, knowing that this day will come. So whether the government cooperates or not, we will ensure that they cooperate with non-violent communication.
Okay. Thank you so much for everything that you have said. I have a lot of questions, but real quick, I'm just Okay, I know that you said that you only do like 1.5 hours, and it's almost 1.5 hours. I'm truly sorry, but let's take this. I'm going to try to condense all these questions together. So there has been a lot of concern in the comment section. Some people asking that, do you think that it would be easy to do all these things? Who is going to lead? This is an example of one of the people that have been saying, can you take a lead in this crusade? We're tired of people that will call us to protest while they join the next available chopper to abroad. So it's not the only person that has expressed something like that, who is going to lead all these things to make it happen. But more importantly, this is another example, who head all this, who coordinate all these things. There were also a number of young people saying that, well, do you think that the young people can just go and change their constitution or make all these things that you are saying? How can young people make it happen? But more importantly, there has also been a lot of concerns about the unity of Nigeria as it is. Some people are worried. Do you think that Nigeria can unite again and work as one? Because you've said this a number of times that the young people have to come together to work together, and then there's a number of people who are alleging that, do you know that in northern Nigeria, like okay, this is one example. Does he understand that the majority of northern Muslims are brought fully into Islamic fundamentalism? That a lot of young people in northern Nigeria are already radicalized. So, but I'm trying to put it all together. So when people have that kind of mindset and that question, it goes with this particular question, that how do you address how can the already radicalized youth in northern Nigeria, how can they join the rest of Nigeria in rejecting the evils of the present government? So to put all these questions together, young people are asking, who is going to coordinate all of this? How do you want us to? We can't just do these things. Also, are we even united right now? And what's going to happen to the fact that in northern Nigeria, some young people have already been radicalized? How can we now work together, and what's the solution to all this? Who will coordinate the young people, so to say?
Okay, good. Let me try and just answer this. Like I said, we cannot unfold in 1.5 or 2 hours something that has been plotted against you for 30 years. The Nigerian fire brigade approach is not the approach that any sensible person will adopt in problem solving. But to answer this question, let me say this quickly. Man is a product of influence. Man is a product of influence. I remember that in 1968, Obafemi Awolowo said something. He said, it is incontestable, nobody can contest this, that the British not only made Nigeria, but also handed it over whole in their surrender of power. They handed it over to us. But the Nigeria that they handed over to us had in it the forces of its own disintegration. And he said something. It's up to contemporary Nigerian leaders to neutralize these forces, preserve the Nigerian inheritance, and make all our people free, forward-looking, and prosperous. Now, what am I trying to say is this. Peacekeeping is just boots on ground. Peacemaking is jaw. Peace building is something that requires deep thought. Part of the challenge we have right now is that because of the military, which again was by design, the military brutalization of the psyche of the average Nigerian. The average Nigerian feels very helpless, whether north or south. In fact, what they call tragic optimism is what I hear from the average Nigerian voice in the south. Tragic optimism describes what happened to the Jews when 6 million of them were killed in Nazi Germany. It looked as if life was impossible for them. But do you know that all it takes is this? People are still looking for a Messiah. I'm not a Messiah, and there's no Messiah anywhere. What we need to do is to lift up eternal truths. I'm already revealing some of these things, man. What we need to do you see, what we need to do is to lift up eternal truths. I'll give you an example. Nnamdi Azikiwe said something in those days. You see, there's a role for the older generation, there's a role for the younger generation. But I'm afraid that the older generation is so compromised and toxic that they don't want to supply what is right. We will supply guidance, we will supply understanding. Look, old men can only dream dreams. It's the young people that can see visions. As I am right now, I thought that by now I'll be playing golf with my friends at this stage of life. I didn't know I would be involved in the kind of things I'm still doing up till now. Zeke said, let's forget our differences. Ahmadu Bello said, no. Let us understand our differences. I'm a Muslim and a Northerner, and you are a Christian and Easterner. By understanding our differences, we can build unity in our country. Ahmadu Bello. But watch this. The same fellow, was he not the one that the British manipulated? If you hear the speech he made about the Igbos, go online, it's there. So what am I trying to point out to you is this. When the right principles come and we lift up eternal values, truth will always win. Truth will always win at the end of the day. So if we get and ideate the youth, they will see that it is not me. It's not looking for a new leader. No. We're going to be looking for a new life built on truth. And as each person takes his own portion and plays their own part, which all of us will understand, we will watch a new Nigeria emerge, a stronger country, a better country. That's why I said to you, I may not have time to go into it, but what the founding fathers of America did was to lay a viable foundation. Look, at the time the founding fathers of America were putting together the foundation of America, slavery was still in place. But this is why I say that the problem of the African is the inability to mathematize inquiry. What the founding fathers of America did was that they wrote a program. They knew it would live long after them. The program they wrote is the reason. They wrote a program in 1776. The program they wrote in 1776 is the reason why Abraham Lincoln, a quote white man, was able to sign emancipation and liberated about 4 million people with a stroke of a pen in 1863. So the African needs to understand that peace building is what we need to know. The challenge is that there are a lot of people whose brains, whose thinking, there's a limitation on it. And I don't want to talk about that right now. But go and read the miseducation of the Negro and understand why most questions are like this. So when we want to deploy, I don't need more than a handful of young leaders across West Africa. When we instruct a handful of young leaders in North Nigeria, Southern Nigeria, and I mean South, North Nigeria, what we tell them will spread like wildfire as long as they are leaders. Because it's not going to be based on oratorical sense, it's not based on personality, it's based on the power that truth has. Truth carries the power. And you see, Nigerians have told lies for so long that many people don't believe in the power of truth anymore. Everywhere, the lies are everywhere. From the religious places to the political spaces. The corruption, the devaluation of human worth. And it's not our fault. Let me put this for you last. Everything happening in Nigeria is predictable. The reason why the Hydra wants to destroy Nigeria is because the program that Adeola was said should be addressed was never addressed. So smarter people can see the vacuum. Al-Majiri is born. His mother doesn't take care of him. His father doesn't take care of him. He goes into the hand of somebody who doesn't care about him, who indoctrinates him. Are you better than him? Is it because you are fortunate to be born in a place where your parents are compelled to take care of you? You think your life is worth more than his own life? Let me tell you something. If you are visionary, you will know that the only reason I'm advocating for United Nigeria is because it is Nigeria's destiny to save Africa. And if we cannot handle ordinary Nigeria, how can we save Africa? But do you know, I was talking to one country. That whole country has less than 6 million people. That country started in 1822. They've been fighting till now. They are one of the worst countries in the world, a beggar nation. Why? The architecture of thought needed to move a nation forward is obvious to me. I was supposed to meet their president a while back. I think I first had a meeting with their vice president to some friends of mine. And I was just laughing. I said, 44,000 square miles, less than 6 million people. You are sitting on prime land in Africa, and you can't see through to reprogram the country. Ah, God will help us.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And I know that you're trying to leave, but last question. By the way, please, if you're watching and you're yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I beg of you, please and please subscribe. I would truly, truly appreciate that. Thank you so much to everybody that sent in questions. I'm sorry that I'm not able to answer all the questions, but there's one particular question that a number of people have asked. What's delaying America from coming? It's been weeks. The killings has increased, so on and so forth. A number of people have asked this in various ways, various forms. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yes. What has delayed America from coming is that the body language of Nigeria is that Nigeria is telling the world that America is coming to invade, not rescue. So a lot of traps have been set across the world because of global politics, social politics, global. And what has happened is that because church leaders have refused to mention the word genocide, because church leaders, for whatever reason, you'll see that I said to you there's something called the wicked Bible in those days. No, let me talk about that. But what is happening now is that the church leaders in Nigeria, how can a president say there's a genocide on Christians and your president is carrying the sword in vain? And the Christians are crying out, save us. All the common people and Muslims are saying, yes, we don't believe in just raping 13-year-old girls. That's not our God. And we are saying the answer is to blow the religious cover. Then the most in high places are going around freely. Intelligence all over the world knows those who are walking free, dining with church leaders and whining. And then church leaders are releasing narratives to alienate the only one who has cared about the value or the human worth of young girls who are being raped continuously, young boys who are being hacked to death, men who are being dismembered. Then the international community is telling America, the country says you are trying to invade them. So tell me, who is delaying boots on ground? And without a consensus of truth, yes, there is a genocide. But when you are coming, please, don't come for only the Christians. When America is coming, come with everything America has, which is value to human worth. God said, all men are given freedom of choice. God never forces anybody into any religion. And we're saying to America, your foundation is what we want. Don't just bring guns. Don't leave a vacuum behind. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying here. If that's what we were saying, they would have been on ground a long time ago. But if what we are saying is that we are telling them, actually, you want to attack us. The Declaration of American Independence is 1,337 words. We hold this truth to be self-evident. All men are created equal and have certain inalienable rights. The pursuit of what? Do we have that foundation? And if the narrative, the body language globally of Nigeria is don't come and save us, we don't have a problem, how justified before God would Donald Trump be if he brought help?
Thank you so much. You said a lot of things that some of the things you said today are controversial. Just know that. Which I know you already know. But I also wanted you to, real quick, before I let you go, there are a lot of Muslims watching this. I just want you to clarify that this is not an attack on Muslims or Islam. You're talking about how all of us can work together to make Nigeria a better country, also for the sanctity of human lives in general. And you have also pointed out that the fact that some northern young people have been radicalized is not necessarily their fault. It is the whole indoctrination that we need to work on, right? I just wanted you to clarify that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Let me just say this quickly. Religious tolerance is one of the strengths. Religious tolerance is one of the strengths of the Southwest. You'll find that in every family in the Southwest, there are Christians and there are Muslims. And the truth is this: there's no compulsion in any religion. So, the greatest gift that Nigeria can gift the world with is that this is the country where we will show that the humanity of man before God is of high value, irrespective. Let me practicalize it for you, and I will name names. Working for Khan, at the time we thought that there was a certain governor that had been radicalized. We assumed he had been radicalized. But I said, no, we don't move based on assumptions in the body of Christ. So I want to openly confess, we buried people in his state. And these people were there for months. And because my desk was in charge of security then in Khan, when they brought the report, actually, the northerners who had been buried in the place, you know what? They started laughing at the southerners. They said, is this what you call a radicalized governor? There's one group they call Taun. Those was beat up people in that area. And then when the elders intervened, they were released. So they were explaining. The Hydra kills people. It doesn't beat people. It rapes young girls. It kidnaps. It abducts. And by the time they gave me the report, I saw clearly that that governor is just that he talks, I don't want to use the word carelessly, but I found out that all his actions, he definitely was not a terrorist. But the narrative, because of politics, was that he was a terrorist. And I remember that when I looked at that report, the Khan executive presented it, there were forces who had bought into some parties, political parties, who wanted me to change the report, to give him a bad name, so that his political party will suffer damage. And I said before God and man, one day, none of us will be here forever. One day, we will give account of our lives. How can I write that report, knowing that at that time, let me tell you what the point blank truth is. At that time, some of the elements in the north were reaching out to this governor to try and radicalize him. So I took note. Instead, when I met the governor and we began to share about the Omoluabi ethos, and we began to discuss it, you know what the governor told me? He said, our people don't fight based on faith. He said, in the ancient days, the father could be worshiping Shango, the mother worships Oya. The children will follow whoever the mother when they are young. And then when they grow of age, they choose. And that the enculturation program of our people from when you are a child, when you are learning subconsciously, it is also put into you that any spirit that does not bring progress, any spirit that is negative, any spirit that will take us backward, we should reject it. I'm sure you know that proverb in Yoruba language. Orisha. Orisha that cannot help me, leave me alone. I'm sure you know it. So I hope that helps us to realize that it's manipulation. There's nothing wrong with our people, North and South, that we can't handle. Can you hear me? Hello. Well, that's enough for today. Thank you very much. And may God bless you. I hope we've gone offline. That's enough. Adeola, I'm sure that's enough for one day.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but the internet just blacked out. Maybe the bandits have attacked the internet. I don't know. But anyways, thank you. I want to thank you so much for your time. If you observe today, I didn't interrupt much. Like I had a lot of questions with so many of the things that you were saying. I wanted evidence. I wanted you to prove some things, like, you know, but the people said that I was interrupting you the other time. So I didn't want to interrupt and I just allowed you to talk. So thank you so much for taking your time. You spend like 2 hours of your time with us. I can't believe that across all the different platforms that I have, we have more than 11,000 people watching. And I'm so grateful for that. And beyond the live show, more people will watch. The people that will watch it after will be more than the people that are watching it live. So I truly appreciate everybody that joined us live. I appreciate everybody that asked questions. I appreciate all the answers that you gave to the people. I wanted to say one more time, if you're here to subscribe to my channel, please subscribe. I will appreciate that. So you said a lot of things today, sir, and there are still some things that you didn't say directly that you like said in parable, you know, and you still, even the solution, it was still kind of coded. Some of the things you said some things plainly, but you were still speaking in tongues in many aspects.
No,
but
no,
I look
no.
at the
When
comment,
you bring me the youths who are ready to act for action, enough talk. I don't want to waste my energy. We have worked for almost 30 years waiting to solve this problem. I'm not interested in what do they call those things now? Content. I mean, what is that? You people, the young generation.
it's okay.
This is not entertainment. It's not entertainment. People are dying.
I looked at the comment section. Some people were defending you that this is how elderly people talk. They don't talk with the full mouth. They just talk in parable people of his generation and so on. But anyways, I just want to say that I'm grateful that you made the time. And even though it's more than the time that we agreed on, I truly appreciate that you made the time to come back on the show. And you said a number of times.
Let me drop this for you then. It was Aregbe's government in Osun State, okay?
Governor Aregbe Shola.
Yes, in his state in Osun State, we felt in Christianity that he was a radical. But when I embedded people and they brought back the reports, it became clear that he was not a radical. He was just an outspoken person who was very aggressive, who you could check the boxes. Now, let me correct one error that people make in Nigeria here. They try to say only one party. Oh, there's one particular party that is an Islamist party. Listen, this Hydra has penetrated every political party. And if I will mention to you all the alternatives you have, there's a particular one. I remember when he was going to go and start his presidential campaign, he went to Usman Danfodo's grave. That's where he left and came to declare his presidency some years ago. So please tell me, the Hydra is not stupid. It has penetrated across all political parties. And that's why I'm telling you that except we revamp everything with courage, we're only postponing the evil day. This is beyond Tinubu. I'm sure that makes you happier now.
Okay. I don't know if you can hear me, but the internet is acting out again. When I said the internet was acting out the other time, people said it was my internet. That's why. All right, everyone, the internet is acting out, so we have to end this. I just want to thank you so much one more time, sir, for making the time to join us today. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know now, you know Reverend Ladi Peter Thompson. He's the convener of the Macedonian Initiative. They have rescued a lot of people at the forefront of terrorism in Nigeria. They've really helped in a lot of people. We can't even start counting them, and he's been heavily involved in the security initiatives in Nigeria. He himself is a security expert, and he's a man of God. He's a reverend. So thank you so much, Reverend Ladi Thompson, for joining me today. I just want to appreciate you one more time. Please unmute yourself. It says you're muted. You are muted. We didn't hear you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. The pleasure is mine. And let me know when you have serious people, not those who are ready to go for action. And then we can talk again.
Absolutely. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're here too, and please share this interview. It's on YouTube. Please share it so that more people can watch it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate you, and thank you so much for being so patient. Thank you so much, guys. Until next time, I'm gonna see you later. Peace out.
Oh, sorry, Adeola.
Yes, sir.
I wanted you to play that the parable. I sent you a little video. Did you get it?
Oh, okay. Hold on.
You just couldn't just see it. Because I'll have a program next Sunday to unmask these things directly.
Okay.
So if you have it, please.
It says you turned off your camera, but you're still there, right?
Yes, very much.
Apologies, everyone. It's the second one that you sent to me, right?
I should believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm about to play it. Okay. Video file. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to play. That's a
Can
few
you
seconds.
can you play it from your end? I'm not sure why it's not playing. If you can hear me.
Oh. Can I play it from this end? Okay, it's not playing from your end.
Yeah, I just added it, but I don't think it's playing. I'm not sure why.
Okay, maybe. Oh dear.
But I can
Maybe the
always
next time.
upload.
Yes. Please upload.
I can't believe you guys are still there despite all this glitch. You guys still stayed. Thank you. God bless you. He wanted me to play a video before the internet acted out again. And this is the video that he wanted me to play. Oh, it's frozen again. Yeah. Okay. It's not working. Hi guys, I can't believe you guys are still here. I truly apologize. I do not know what's happening, but this video is not playing. It's a 12 seconds video actually, like animation showing an eagle that came in to help an eagle that was surrounded, and then they both flew together. They both flew away together. So I'm not sure why I'm not able to play it. I truly apologize. I had it queued, but it's not playing. So I'm truly sorry. Also, I lost the man of God. But I just wanted to thank you all. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. There's a lot of people that ask questions that I didn't get to, but we had him for 2 hours. So he really tried. He truly tried. And I just want to thank you guys and just appreciate you. Thank you so much. Someone is asking about Koledo. He's doing really well. And there were a lot of people saying, thank you, Adeola. I want to thank you too. I truly appreciate you. All right, guys, I signed out already, but let me do it one more time. All right, y'all, it's been real, and I'm keeping you out of here. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.